It's Theme Park Thursday with our very special guest, the Dillos Diz Resort Community Corps. Now is the time.
Forever? Tangent.
Halt.
Hashtag always MGM.
You are approaching the unloading area.
Calm down. AK haters.
But what if it could?
Behold the majesty of the Sistine Ceiling.
For the kids.
A salute to all theme parks, but mostly Walt Disney World.
Ha! What a cute ending.
Aloha and
Don't Dillo it.
This is Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank, and as you can tell by the many windows here on the video portion of the podcast, we have several guests on Theme Park Thursday today for this Thursday, February 19th, 2026. It's actually February 11th, 2026. And note that I said both February and February in both of those dates.
Whatever brings you joy, you choose how to say February however you want.
We're recording this episode well in advance because, fun fact, I'm in Florida on this Theme Park Thursday.
Yeah. Are you in Disney?
No.
No. No.
No.
Yeah.
I'm on the
It's
beach,
fine.
which I
It's
love. I
fine.
love the beach.
It's his favorite place to be.
I love it. It's gotten better over the last several years, but it's fine.
How old is 9-year? Oh, wait a second.
I'm
Fine,
like,
I
I'm
gave
like
it away.
young. Oh yeah, there is a change in the program.
Oh, that's right. There is, yes.
9-year-old A will heretofore be known as the 10-year-old.
It's happened. She's now a Disney adult. Oh,
I
man.
believe.
I'm impressed with y'all keep up with those names. I can't keep up with the actual names of my grandchildren.
It's
Much
true.
less
And I mean, I'm glad Jen
their
said it
ages.
because otherwise, who would have known?
Well, and I was
I
saying,
think
and
I think
let's
I'm
see how
frozen.
long you've actually liked the beach. How old is she? But then I was like, oh, wait a second.
Changing
What
the
day is
program.
this?
Lewis
So-
was very disappointed that when I talked with you about the book crawl, that I did not refer to our daughter as the 36-year-old.
Oh.
He was like, why did you not do that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Once they get into non just Disney adult, true adulthood, we'd probably need a sign off on that for legal reasons.
Oh, and we've lost
lost
Lewis.
Lewis.
Lewis
He was
is
too
still
mad.
mad at Val.
He's
Bye,
so
Lewis.
mad
He
about
is.
that, man. All right.
Not gonna
Oh,
forgive
now
him.
he wants back in. He regretted his decision.
Needy. So needy.
Which a very Muppety recording indeed. All the voices you have heard are part of our panel discussion on this Theme Park Thursday. So we might as well welcome everyone in all together at once. It's Lewis and Val and Jeffers. Yay!
Yay! Welcome, everyone.
Were we not supposed to talk yet?
No, you're always
Sorry.
allowed. There are no rules. You know that. There's no rules here.
No rules. We
And who
just
knows?
have. Yeah.
And you don't know if we're actually going to introduce or what we remember, or if there is like a plan to all of this. So you
I
just
have a
go.
plan in my head
Oh,
for this
right.
episode. I said that. It's not going to happen, but fine. But we're here. It's 2 weeks removed. Well, of the recording, it's 1 week removed, but of this Theme Park Thursday, it's 2 weeks and 1 day removed from the drop, the premiere of the Muppet Show reboot, as I'm calling it, because that means it's going to keep happening. And we've brought the panel in to discuss the episode. We'll talk about some of our favorite things. We'll talk about what the future holds for the show. And then I really want to talk about what's going to happen in the parks going forward, especially where there's a new CEO involved who apparently likes the Muppet stuff in the parks. So we'll get right into it because Jen and I have not discussed this at all together. We have not discussed what we thought about the Muppet Show. So I'm going to throw it to Jen first because she's like the co-host.
What?
Yeah,
Me?
you. Yeah, you. You.
Okay. So, per usual, I am super excited that there is something Muppety anytime. extra excited that it was the Muppet Show. Also looked forward to seeing Sabrina Carpenter. Overall thoughts, I think I liked it. I'm not gonna just
I was like,
agree that.
wow. I was
No,
she's already
I'm
talking
like,
in a
hold
way
on,
I'm
it's
not
sounding bad
expecting.
already. I don't mean it to sound bad. No, I liked it. I'm excited. I want more. I loved how they like stuck to the format of the Muppet Show, which was great. I loved the Muppety antics. I loved the Sabrina singing and in the bar, and like all of it was all great. And it was also funny like watching it with the kids because they are fans of the Muppets, but they haven't done a lot of like Muppet Show core Muppet Show stuff. So there were times where they're like, "What are they doing? Why is that funny? What's happening?" Like, there were a couple of those moments. But I appreciated that because I have said plenty in the past how I feel like the Muppets runs through the generations and can kind of, bring everyone together. And there's something for everyone when there's Muppets involved. I feel like I appreciate Seth Rogen bringing it back and being involved. There were moments of the show where I went, "This is very Seth Rogen. This part right here, this is Seth Rogen. I know it. He's behind this one." Um, not not necessarily in a bad way, just a Seth Rogen way. But then I wonder, like, if/when it continues, will he bring in people like Jason Segel or Brett Goldstein or, people like this to also get in on the Muppety goodness because they all love it as well? I don't not like anything about it. I think there's a piece of me that feels like, I think we need more of it so that they can like really find their footing with it. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Am I sounding negative? I don't mean to sound negative.
Yeah. Please slow down and do not strike the car ahead.
Yeah. I'm done now. Someone else talk.
I'm gonna pass it over. I'm gonna hold Lewis's opinion there because I know Lewis has got thoughts. So
Yes.
I'm gonna
Val's like,
pass
yeah,
it.
save him till the end. Yes,
I'm gonna
please.
pass it over to Dr. Val here everyone's surprised when I throw it to them
It's
today.
like,
What? It's a battle discussion.
I agree with Jen on almost everything. I loved the show. I loved the concept. I thought Sabrina Carpenter was perfect in it. The Islands in the Stream number alone was just magnificent. I loved it so much. Her with the singing with the chickens in the bar, like I just felt like she just clicked all of the boxes for me for the first guest back.
Yeah.
And so I really love that. I did. I don't know Seth Rogen as well, so I didn't catch a lot of the things that Jim was talking about, but just some of his lines that he's not canon, like just some of the things that he brought to it, I thought were really funny. And I really liked that because I loved just that self-deprecation of Fozzie telling him that he had been cut I thought was great. So I loved all of the little like the Muppets that we haven't seen in a really long time that were just in the background. They had Bean Bunny there, and I was not expecting him to be, and so I was just thrilled to see him. I do agree. I think that they do need to get their rhythm going. I do feel like there were just a few moments that felt a little just basically, like I told Lewis, it felt like what they were doing, how they were even saying that they were getting their, their rhythm back.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like there was a couple of moments where, there was a little, hitch in it, but the ending number was just, gave me all those feels. And so, I loved it.
Yeah. And you did just remind me as you're saying, he's not canon. And I thought about the new Muppet that we saw next to Maya Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
the old, which is I think
Is
an
he-
old Muppet,
Is he
right?
an old Muppet that maybe? And I don't.
I
Okay,
haven't seen it in a while.
so
I think he's like a really, really old Muppet.
I love it.
Yeah.
She's now just a 9-year-old on this podcast as there's a program change. So the 9-year-old loved that Muppet. She's like, "Oh, who's this Muppet? I love him." Like this one of all the things. This is going
Right.
to be your thing. But I just want to throw that out there. So.
No, I do, and I'm like, do I talk after everyone talks? But I want to wait until I hear from everybody first because I have a lot of Sabrina Carpenter thoughts. So, and I'm going to pass it over to Jeffers. I saw Jeffers nodding as Dr. Val was talking about Islands in the Stream, which to me, on my first watch of my 3 watches so far, was the first time around where I was like, this is pure Muppet Show right here. That was the one that jumped out at me. Now, since then, it has expanded. But on the first watch, I was like, this is it right here. This is what we missed. So,
Yeah.
Jeffers, over to you.
Okay, so the first thing I'll say is that I've also have watched it 3 times. Just finished it just before I jumped on. And I'll say the first time I watched it, I was like, I wanted it to do so well and I wanted it to hit so well that first time through, I don't know if I was ready to watch it, if that makes sense. Because I guess I didn't know what to expect. After 2 more watch throughs, I think the greatest compliment that I can give it is that it just felt like an episode of The Muppet Show that you could have dropped back into any episode. Like, it wasn't, the biggest compliment is I don't think it was trying too hard to be like, this is our one shot. I know they made that joke maybe a couple times, but I don't think they were like trying to pull out all the stops. I think they just tried to put on a really good Muppet variety show, which I think is probably what would lead to the success of, it being picked up, hopefully, for more episodes down the road. The nodding on the Islands in the Stream, when Dr. Val was talking about it, was one of the things, kind of as I was thinking about what I might say tonight, was that, like, if you can gauge the success of anything these days, it's basically kind of like how TikTok picks it up. And like the number of times I've seen on TikTok somebody say something along the lines of, Spotify, put this, as a stream, and my Spotify Wrapped next year is just going to be, Islands in the Stream. It's going to be the number one hit, and it's going to be followed by the Sabrina Carpenter Man-Child. And so I think that's by the third watch through. Just like if you go skit by skit by skit, all the skits were great, all the performances were great, and like everything, like Waldorf and Statler, all their jokes were great. The Muppet Labs, so funny. Like, this isn't gonna hurt me a bit. And putting the stuff in Beaker's eyes, so I found it funny because the first watch through, I was like, oh, I don't know how that went, but I think that was more me as a viewer kind of hoping so much that it was going to be so amazing, right? And then as I watched it again, I got like, no, this is really good. Like, all the jokes are funny, the performances are great. So that's kind of my. I think they did really well. That's my final. And so you guys talk the rest of the night.
Well, thanks, Jeffers, and stay with us here for the rest of the episode.
One of my favorite posts that I've seen since that made me think of Jeffers, and I told Lou right after the show, somebody posted me in the club to the DJ, play Sabrina Carpenter Man-Child with the chickens as the the backup singers. So it's already becoming like a thing. Like,
it is such an.
I saw one today that was I can't listen to Man-Child without the balking chickens anymore. Like, that was a TikTok. I can't hear it without the chickens balking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right, now we know we're going to get a real critical analysis of the Muppet Show relaunch.
I may have to leave. We'll see.
We're going to
We
pass
had
it over.
many fun discussions in the house about this.
Those should have been recorded so we could put them on the end of this.
Can you guys keep it going?
Lewis.
I'm actually watching the show right now, okay? We're saying goodbye to everybody.
Going play by play.
No, I am.
Yeah.
I can't believe none of you had anything negative to say. I mean, nothing. Because it's not that good. It's really,
I was
really
a little
good.
bit negative. I was a little bit. Was I? Maybe not.
I said I didn't like it the first time. Right?
Islands in the Stream was one of the best comedy things I've seen in a long time. No doubt about that. I didn't think I thought they tried a little too hard and not hard enough to be that one big. This is a one-time thing. Should have been an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe a little longer, and put together a show. And then at the end, if they got picked up for more, they should have said, "And we just been alerted. We're gonna get to come back," because it was just 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I think, and there was Scott Gustin retweeted someone today that they're actually working on some more. Not that it's been picked up, but that they're working on ideas, and that's great. There was only one time I thought they went a little too far, and Val hates this. I don't know why, but it's when Kermit and Sabrina Carpenter are talking. I thought both of those jokes just seemed a little too much, in my opinion. I felt like that was just like, if you're a parent, you don't know if your kid gets it, but you're still like going, and I don't mind that whole mixing of the adult and kid humor. That's great, but there's some words that just, they're going to watch it and eventually they're going to know what it means, and they're going to be like, we were watching this with our parents? What? Mom?
In the 1970s, Miss Piggy was chasing around a dancer who was wearing a towel in a sauna and then took it off of him as he ran out the door. How is the Muppets never did things that were inappropriate, even a discussion?
Hey, a little loud.
just to push back slightly.
Down.
I can hear you up here. I'm
got
a mile away
excited.
from her at this point.
You're fine. We love the
think that's
passion,
the
Val. We
perfect
love it.
I'm sorry.
We have an insight into what's been going on in the last week. I love this.
It's not that. There's lots of that kind of thing. Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and some of the things they did were humor, and you couldn't have gotten away with that in some respects at later in the 60s and 70s but I thought that it just seemed a little much.
I think that's
single?
the line they have to walk.
Even Kermit looked
Jeffers.
a little bit ashamed of himself for having this conversation.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect line, like exactly actually how you described it was like the kid's going to look at it 10 years from now and say, is this what I'm watching? I think that's exactly describing exactly what Muppet humor has to be, is that the kids have no idea what they're watching, but the parents go, ooh, that was good.
Yeah. I feel like it was definitely on the line. I forgot about it, but as you said, I was like, oh yeah, and I did have a moment of like, all right, that's a little risky of them to do, but it works, and the kids didn't even clock it.
It just wasn't so funny that it felt worth it. Like some things are just so funny they're worth it. You'll get over it.
Like you feel like it wasn't needed.
It was just like Kermit went.
Yeah. I understand.
I had a kiss going on a date with Bob.
Well, and I think, and to both of your points, I think it is, again, where my nervousness lies. If Jeffers has nervousness, I have nervousness about future hosts, right? Because to me, and I don't know a lot of Sabrina Carpenter. I know Girl Meets World, and I know she has a couple of songs, and I know that she opened SNL 50 with Paul Simon. Like these are the things that she's on my radar for, but I knew that she was absolutely the right host before I watched the episode, because there was a chance that she was going to toe that line, and there was a chance that she would get it. She would get, the connection with the Muppets. She would play into that. She would do that Michael Caine and Christmas Carol thing. Those are the best Muppet Show episodes, are the ones where they think they're real. Wow. So they are, and that is where. Like, I don't disagree with you, Louis, maybe for different reasons of like, it was a joke for it. Change for the sake of change. It was a joke for the sake of the joke and not for anything. Almost if Piggy had kicked the door down at that moment, maybe that would have punched it a little bit more. So I see your point there in the comedic sense, but I think whether we're talking Pixar movies, you got different things over the years where you see where lines are drawn, that I feel like that's that was something they had to do because they knew they needed both audiences to watch this show. They needed both the young fan base and us old fogies to to tune into this, and that is, I think a tightrope that is hard to walk. So yeah, and I don't know about the timing. I don't know if it had been an hour, I've been like, nope, my Muppet Show is 30 minutes. And I think I would have felt a little bit of that too. But I think in terms of, I think she was such a great host. The setup was right there with her and Piggy at the beginning, so they created a through line for themselves. Loved the Islands song because she sounded awesome on that too. I thought she sounded amazing, and again,
She sounded like Dolly Parton and Miley Cyrus were there, man. It was really freaky.
Yeah, it was really, really sounded awesome. And then it worked back over time, where then I really started getting into the man-child number more. You see it everywhere on TikTok and Reels. But then I saw today how it was parodied after a Gremlins scene from Gremlins, and I was like, that's awesome too. Where I thought Islands had a little bit of Kiss the Girl in it. Right, and I thought it had that vibe, and then to see kind of this Gremlin scene in a bar where they're all gallivanting, I was like, oh, that's really funny too. And so there's if they're working that hard to kind of have these mashups, that's the way to go. But then after that, I mean, I just thought she, even in that scene with Kermit, it was just nice to see the host, and I'm just using the host in general, connect with the Muppets in this way, because I said it last week or 2 weeks ago that the show is the foundation of the Muppets to me. This show should have always existed in some way over the years to keep the brand alive. All the other attempts to leave out the pandemic show on Disney Plus, but the ABC show that was like The Office, Muppets Tonight in the 90s. Why has SNL been around for 50 years? It is the format, and I don't know if the Muppets should have ever walked away from that completely over these years.
Yeah.
Well, and I think going back to talking about Sabrina Carpenter, one of the things that I've always loved about what the Muppets have done too, and I think they always did that, is that they show this very interesting respect to their guest. Like whoever their guest is, they always played to their strengths and played to their, they let them promote their brands in their own way. And I think that they did that even with Sabrina Carpenter, because part of her, I don't know. I don't know exactly what to call it other than her shtick, but I know that's not what you call it. But her part of who she is and the way she performs is that she makes those little jokes, and she's suggestive, and she does the double entendres, and she, that's kind of her thing. And so I felt like that they were finding a way to give a little nod to that, in the not such an overt way, obviously not as strong as she does it in her shows and what she does, but in their own way, in a way that I don't think that kids are going to necessarily pick up, because it rings to our ears because we're adults and we know, just like what Jeffer said about how once we get older, we go, oh wow, when I look back at things that I watched when I was a kid, I go, oh wow, I didn't realize, I don't remember that being in that movie or whatever. So I felt like they respected her too.
Lewis and Val, especially, probably will respect this one. Like 10 years ago, I remember I watched MASH reruns all the time. And then finally I watched I'm not Farewell to Arms. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did Hawkeye and Hot Lips do more than just kiss that night? And it was like, I'm like, oh, wow. It was probably longer than 10 years ago. But it was very, very well removed from my childhood of, how many MASH episodes I watched when I was a kid. Being like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who watched the full Dirty Dancing movie at age 7, and the amount of things I didn't realize, which, in fairness, how? Because I feel like if I showed that movie to my kids, they would have been like, what's happening? Like, anyway, but I did write down, to your point, Val, I did say Sabrina walks the line. And if anyone was on, I feel like on her last tour, if anyone was on that algorithm of Sabrina's, there's a very specific part of her show that she does that was a viral thing for quite some time where, you could be like, this is what she's doing at her shows because there are kids in the audience. But again, I think she walks that line where probably even at those shows, kids don't fully get it. The adults do. It's super quick. And then she's on to the rest of her songs. But she does have that way of walking the line the same kind of way as the Muppets do. And Frank, to your point about the hosts, like, especially in the future, it almost makes me feel like the SNL thing where, and I don't watch as much SNL as I used to. It's been a very long time that I've kind of come and gone with it, but when there's like a really good host and they're writing for that host really well and it's hilarious. And then there are hosts where it's like, oh man, this is rough to watch. And you kind of hope that in the future, when there are more of these episodes, that they continue to write more for that host and play with that as opposed to it feeling that draggy feeling, I guess.
First off, how do you live in New York and not go to SNL every weekend and just see the show?
It's so hard. You have to get tickets over the summer. You can't even just go. You have to get them there's one day in August that it opens up and then that's it.
You can stand by. You can wait. I'm just feeling it.
It's fair.
I've done the NBC tour, so I've been in the studio.
I'm just totally kidding.
There you go.
That was like 31 years ago. That was it. But I did it.
I did it. I was there.
But I did it. I was there.
Anyhow, we're 20. Whoa, wait. 10-year-old. I'm just kidding. Because I'm way older than you are. By so much.
No, you're not, Louis.
Physically and mentally and all of it.
You know better than that, Louis. Come on.
I think the thing is, the Muppet Show has to be a show that you can sit with your kids and not feel weird about. It's got to be for kids and for adults. It can't be all for kids. It's not Muppet Babies. It can't be all for adults. It can't be SNL. That's why that ABC show crashed so hard because it was tacky, and it was tacky trying to make them seem adult, not tacky humor. And you're just like, why are we watching this? And then not the pandemic one, the ABC show where they were the Muppets and you grew up, all the Muppets were always kind of nice. And Pepe was kind of weird in this show too. I don't know. I just have that feeling where you want to sit down, you want to be super happy to watch this and feel entertained as an adult. And that's really hard.
Val, counter. I see you. I see your face as you're listening.
Like I said, I feel like, I heard somebody say this week, and I don't know if this is true because I did not fact check it, but they were saying that Jim Henson really intended on Sesame Street being for kids and the Muppets being different. That he wasn't just writing for kids with the Muppets, that he was writing, he wanted them to be more adults. And I can see that because, like I said, I remember a lot of those episodes where there were things that, that were funny and that were things that maybe that kids wouldn't necessarily get or that. So yes, Louis and I are not vibing on that particular point. And I think I did. I just feel like I agree with what you've said with what Frank and Jeffer said. I just felt like it just clicked for me. I thought they did a really great job. I was just very pleased with it. So I thought they ran the line well, but that's just me.
Okay, and I won't say any more about that. Let's talk about the ending. Kermit standing there. That was an interesting moment. The ending was amazing too, by the way. We haven't talked about that at all, but the ending was like, almost had feelings. It was kind of scary. Like,
wow. That's big.
Louis, are you standing there before the number at the end or after? Yeah.
You could see his legs. That was something that up until, was it Christmas Carol?
It was the Muppets Christmas Carol.
And
yes. Yeah. Because my kids are tired of me saying that because I think every year for 30 years I've said, do you realize how awesome this is that we can see him walking? And they're like, we know.
That wasn't always a thing,
We didn't always get to see those.
Yeah.
That's because there's a guy doing the thing. And it's not, and I know you said they're real, but they show themselves doing it. It's not like this is supposed to be a complete mystery that they are Muppets. They call themselves Muppets for a reason, right?
What?
This is another thing that I have no way of fact checking, but another thing, all my news is from TikTok. But I saw somebody on TikTok talking about how they, in previous Muppet projects over the last 10 years or so, they've taken time to like edit out I don't know what you call it.
The rods.
Yeah.
bar.
The little rods.
Yeah.
for
No, the
arms.
rods. Thank you. The rods for the arms. I guess they've been editing those out, but they didn't for this. And he said that he thought it made it feel more authentic. So whether or not they did edit them out in the past or not, I mean, part of the appeal of the Muppets, right, is knowing that they're not real, but they are so real. You know what I mean?
Well, and I almost think that that's one of the reasons why they show that more, and why, like, for example, for a lot of the influencers that I follow that got to go to the premiere where they actually had the puppeteers on stage with the characters for the intro to the show. And I really almost feel like, because one of the things, and the reason why I keep saying to the kids every year when we watch the Muppet Christmas Carol, is because now everything is done with CGI. So everything nothing is like, the kids don't have that, wow, how did they do that feeling anymore? Or that's somebody that actually, because I keep saying, do you know how hard it was for them to make Kermit walk? Because it's not like they just CGI'd his legs. They had a whole process, and trying to get them to understand that, because I think for our grandkids, they just go, oh, that's just CGI. I mean, it's just CGI. So I kind of wonder if they're going back to that to kind of help us remember, this is not a CGI situation. These are puppeteers that they have to be able to work, the Muppet as well as do the voice. So there's a bigger craft to this, and it's more complicated than people think.
Yeah.
For them to do what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I like that.
It's also a lot faster to film. And cheaper.
That's true. That's true. I appreciate any time there's a little "Don't Stop Me Now." So I was also super happy
that was
with that, and now I love it even more because it gave Lewis feelings. So it's just another reason to love it.
I mean, it's not even, we're not even in Whoville talking about this. So, Jeffers, I think hit the right word, and probably because he knows is a word I really like, but the authenticity is key, right? And it's something that I think lacks in the previous television incarnations of the Muppets. Over the years, I've gone in and out on the movies. It's not like I like all the movies. I think there's there's parts of some I like. There's things that I like about others. And I think the Jason Segel movie is as close as things got to it feeling Muppety again. And I think in part because of the telethon at the end and them doing those sketches, but at the same time, there was, then I went right to Muppets Most Wanted, and you go, this doesn't feel authentic at all. So, it's been that kind of push and pull over the years, and definitely the ABC series did not feel authentic at all. And I watched that one all the way through, and even was like, okay, they really botched the first several episodes, but now they're starting to incorporate things that feel more Muppety. It was already too late. But I think the authenticity is key, and I think that goes back to Sabrina Carpenter playing into it the way and how the writers wrote for her. And yeah, we got to do all the things that, and I said gimmick, and I don't mean that derogatory or disparagingly. I love the persona. I love how she carries herself. I think that there's a charm that was really on display here as well for her, but it was authentically her. So, and I think if you didn't try to toe the line, I think people would have went, bah, you're trying to play for something that's not there, and that's what you get by choosing the host. I think if you had a host that wasn't edgy that way, for lack of a better word, then maybe it wouldn't have come to that. But I feel like because you had a host that does lean that way, then you got to try to sneak one or two in there that make things feel more authentic. And I think that. And that's what I really like. I'm a Sabrina Carpenter fan now, right? Because I'm like, oh, when is 10-year-old going to watch Girl Meets World? I don't think she's done that yet. Stop watching High School Musical, the series.
What do you mean she hasn't watched Girl Meets World?
I don't think she has.
About 1,000 watch-throughs of that show.
So my question to the panel is, presuming they will make more episodes of this, who is your I'm gonna say your ideal host, but also a host that might fit we gotta appeal to one audience, we gotta appeal to the other audience at the same time. It's not a match game situation, Jen, just so you know. I'm not gonna play the
I'm
music.
already writing down ideas, so to see who I match with.
Doom. Who would be your ideal host?
I'm going last.
Jeffers. Are you going last? Oh, Dr. Val, I'll go to you first.
Gosh.
That's great because I can't think of anybody, so I'm going to take the easiest answer, and I got to go Jason Segel just because I've been watching Shrinking, and I know he's got history with the Muppets, and he's super funny, but I cannot think of anybody else. So that's pop culture is not. I'm not not huge with names or anything like that.
Jeffers, we created a whole Dillos Pop Discord.
I know. I didn't even join
Jeffers.
it. I'm not joining it. I made one post and I screwed it up, messed it up. Sorry, Lewis.
Get out of
here.
Dr. Val.
I know
Let me think about
Liz is going to make fun of me for this, but I want to see Brett Goldstein there. I'm sorry. He is such a fan and he is so amazing. And I think that it would be hilarious because just seeing him on Sesame Street has been just magical. So I think that's top on my list right now, I think. And Jason Segel, I'll agree with that too, because I don't know that Jason Segel would do it though. Like I feel like he feels like he did the Muppets and he's done. But I would like to see Brett Goldstein.
Lewis.
I thought I was going after Jen.
Jen said she was going last.
Yeah, she did.
I called dibs, Lewis.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of older musicians I would love to see do the show. Just like I would love to see them do The Masked Singer. Paul McCartney or Elvis Costello on The Masked Singer or Pete Townsend, who wrote the music they play every single time, would just be amazing, right? But if you had to do one, if you're trying to do it tight and you're trying to do one, I'm thinking of Marvel somebody. Maybe Ryan Reynolds. Maybe not. Maybe Hugh Jackman or
Hugh Jackman would be great.
Yeah.
Somebody who's big, has that big personality that they can play off of. The one I remember because I watched it most recently is oh gosh. Oh man, I hate it when this happens. I don't know the name I was thinking of.
He's the guy in the show.
The scary guy. Who's the scary guy?
The scary guy.
He did the radio show of the Saints. I can't think of it.
Scary guy.
Scary guy.
Can you give us another
another hint?
Another credit here of what
he did horror movies. It's like in Michael Jackson's Thriller. Yeah, I think we're frozen now because
no, because we're all like I'm going through Thriller going.
The person who narrated Thriller.
I googled scary guy.
Vincent Price has been gone for years.
No, but he was on the show. I watched that episode. And he's this
back in the day,
edgy kind of person who you don't expect to be with Muppets. So that's what kind of makes it. That's kind of, I guess, what Sabrina.
Oh, you're looking for that? I see. Like the juxtaposition.
Too, right? Because you don't think of Sabrina Carpenter in kid shows, right? Maybe from the past, but not now, right? So
I cheated.
But one of the things too, though, is I love the big musical numbers. So you mentioned Hugh Jackman, and like for me to think of like Jonathan Groff, or like somebody like that would be, I think, really cool too. That can do these big musical numbers with the Muppets would be fun.
So I cheated and
I think,
I plugged it into ChatGPT. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. What do you got there,
There's a delay,
Jeffrey?
just totally a delay.
It's
Oh.
okay.
So, so out of the whole list of the chat sheet, I'm not going to go through them all, but the ones that jumped out at me, Paul Rudd. I mean, how good would Paul Rudd be
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Muppets?
Marvel.
That'd be fantastic.
And the other one, Will Ferrell. I mean, not everybody's cup of tea, but something tells me he could do something with the Muppets. But
That would be really
Yeah, I think it
Thanks,
comes
Jen.
down. Yeah, I think it comes down to like how, and I kind of floated this on the X Twitter a couple weeks ago when the show happened, of like how often should the shows should there be 24 episodes in a 36-week period, like, standard? Should it be 2 every month? Should it be 1 every quarter, and make it feel more special? Like, I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, I think if we're talking about like a regular season, like SNL, I think does 22. You either do 22 or 24 episodes a season now. So if you're even looking at it like that, then I feel like you can brand like I do. And I just listened to Jonathan Groff with Amy Poehler on the Good Hang podcast, so that's in my brain of like he would be an amazing host, but I don't know, if as many people are attuned to him as I think I would like to think. So, I do think that there's part of that where I do, again, to go back to Sabrina Carpenter, there's this worldwide appeal. We were in Disney Springs in October, in the Christmas shop, and the cast member was like, "Oh, where you guys from?" And we're like, "Oh, from New York." And she's like, "Oh, I'm going up to New York tomorrow." And we're like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to see Sabrina Carpenter at MSG." And I'm like, "What?" And, so it's like it was like such a weird disconnect for me, to be like, "You're going to Madison Square Garden to see Sabrina Carpenter, and you live and you work in Disney? What? What's happening?" So it's. I feel like, again, it did work and it is getting this reaction because it did have a host that had that worldwide appeal. And part of me doesn't want to lose the specialness of that by doing 22 episodes. So I'm very like, oh, I don't know what the answer is. But yeah, Jonathan Groff, and Neil Patrick Harris, I think.
He would be fun.
I think, yeah, there's a lot in there that, you could do Lin-Manuel, you could do, of course, a lot of theater. I would want to see The Rock do the Muppet Show, honestly. As a wrestling fan, I think that would be real fun as well.
The Rock actually makes more sense. I was just thinking back, how many were there who were like Broadway stars or really good musical stars? I don't remember a
Right.
lot. There was Joel Silver, maybe.
You mean back in the original?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot. Kay
Is Ethel-
Ballard and
Ethel Merman?
Ethel Merman.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's just, I think.
But it's not like
I'm sitting here. There's like a Rolodex in my head of like that was to me
Yeah.
like where you got to see these people that I would never get to see anywhere else on the Muppet Show.
But what kind of makes it
But for me,
interesting is when they're up against people that don't kind of make sense, right? And that's why some of those would, like you said, Ethel Merman. That doesn't make sense. Why is Ethel Merman going on a kid show? Because it was funny. And because they get a little bit of, because you're not going to be able to pay a lot of money for this. Unless Mr. Tomorrow is looser with the money than his predecessor, which killed his predecessor's predecessor, because he really did mess up the whole streaming thing by giving us some streaming for a few years. It was amazing. Spending way
Yeah, I
more
think-
money on it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, when you were talking about Sabrina Carpenter, somebody going to see Sabrina Carpenter in concert, Miss Piggy, was arrested one night at her concert. And,
Yeah.
and I think that was one of the greatest clips of that moment that she had. So she was really, I think, like I said, they just played so well off each other. And for Miss Piggy to actually be at her concert and do that was, really cool too, I thought. So, yeah.
They should just film the show Carol Burnett style. No cuts. Just keep going. If you mess up, keep rolling it.
Yeah, the cracking up in the middle of the sketches. Yeah, I think, and so yeah, that's where I'm torn. Is I obviously want to see more, but I'm also worried that it'll lose the appeal quickly if they go into an SNL format where you do get a host and it just doesn't click, and then I feel like people will jump off the bandwagon like that rather than staying with it. Where I see this as the the relaunch of the brand, not just, that's where the potential lies. It's not just about doing a Muppet Show, or it seems like a serious relaunch. And again, I like the Haunted Mansion special. There are things that popped up over the years where you go, oh, but the follow through is not there. This is the opportunity for that follow through in a way that I think supports the brand. So yeah, it's I think an interesting time, and there's and it goes right into the parks. Right now, now all of a sudden they got Rock and Roller Coaster coming in this summer, and I'm like, wait, is the connector? People already want to hear "Don't Stop Me Now" on the roller coaster. They're ready. They're like, oh, if we get that, that'd be awesome. And I think what's funny about the show and these opportunities is it also seems like all marketing opportunities, right? I think there's ways that just be promotional for things that I don't think it will cost as much if someone's like, we'll give you this host because we need to promote this movie. You know what I mean? And then you're able to do the show more often. And I'm not in the biz of the television side, but I feel like that seems like a sound business idea.
But do you think that I feel like we're losing, I can't imagine getting 24 or 22 episodes of shows ever again. Like
I was gonna say that too.
I feel like I feel like the few that are doing maybe 18 are even going to be going, and it breaks my heart because I told Lou that the other day, was that I miss a good 24 episode series, and we were talking about, does that weaken a series or not? The extra year of How I Met Your Mother, did it, like when you add more to, and then you have a tight 3 like Ted Lasso that they can tell a really strong story. So I know I'm torn, but I don't think we're going to ever get the 24 episode season again, ever. I think they're gone.
Yeah. And there's part of me that is okay with that, but have a sound plan that makes the brand stay moving forward. I say stay moving forward. Rock and Roller Coaster.
Wait, before we go that, do you want my list?
Yeah.
I have a whole list after all that time. Come on.
We're giving you extra time to think.
I appreciate
were you supposed to go last? Oh, that's right.
Yes.
You were going last.
You're like, well, anyway. So
that's why you can't go last. Because I just move on after all that.
Here were my matches on Match Game of other people said their names: Brett, Jason, Jonathan, Lin-Manuel. They were all on my list. I had to check them off. I gave half a point to Amy Poehler, since you mentioned listening to Jonathan on Amy Poehler. By the way, Amy Poehler, good hang on YouTube. It's a great time. It's just a great watch, and it's very enjoyable. Anyway, and I think her and I are very on the same page about sleep, and I love it. Okay, but considering she was Joy, I think she would be great, especially coming from that whole world of SNL and everything. Okay, but here are my other people. I did possibly think, while thinking of Jason Segel, I did think Amy Adams could potentially be a good one for the Enchanted Muppets combo person, and because she kind of does a little bit of everything, that maybe she could work. I also thought about Jeff Goldblum, because I think he might be pretty funny in that way. Thinking about the kids, like, what would they say? I think the 9-year-old would say, I want Freya Sky on there. And I don't think enough people know Freya Sky. But I think she's also zombie movies-esque. But she just dropped a new album, in case anyone was wondering. And so could there be potential for her in the future? I don't know enough better. But also a little Dancing with the Stars tie-in with Derek and Julianne. Like, they could probably do something there. Christmas time, Lacey Chabert. She needs to be on there. A little Hallmark crossover. And then, Val, as you talked about Miss Piggy getting arrested at a Sabrina concert, I also thought about Frank's girl, Annie Hathaway, getting arrested at a Sabrina concert. And I was like, oh, she would be good in that as well. So that's my list. Thank you.
The problem is, to do something like a lot of those people, this has to be a weekly show. And it really has to become a talk show. I don't think there's any way they can do that, because these people do other things, I think.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
I think it's different than SNL in the sense of SNL has that kind of it's within the week. I think if you started
Yeah.
production in the summer with the idea of you're gonna, let's say you do Dancing with the Stars in the fall, and then you do the Muppet Show starting in January,
Mhm.
then you
Mhm.
could say, oh, we're gonna do 18 episodes or something because you started production so far in advance.
Mhm.
It's possible. I think it's they need a plan.
Mhm.
By the way,
Yeah.
I had a plan for this episode. This was not it.
How's that going?
It's not going. I mean,
Okay.
this is much better than my plan.
Yeah. So Rock and Roller Coaster.
Oh,
Oh,
Jeffers, you
Jeffers.
had
No, Jeffers. I
Jeffers?
saw that hands. No,
Yeah,
no,
your hand went
you
up.
have to say it now, and you have to unmute before you say it.
Frank always talks about how the parks weren't ready for the popularity of Frozen, right?
Mhm.
I think my only disappointment from this Muppet Show was they should have figured that it was going to be well received and had 3 or 4 more episodes in the can already or in the bank or whatever you want to call it. And
Mhm.
I think I texted you guys that like I was hoping the payoff for that, the joke with the, Scooter's clipboard with all the acts on it was like, well, won't be able to get these acts in on this show, but debuting next week or starting in March, blah, 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 the Muppet Show
Mhm.
will return for 6 episodes or something like that. I think that was my big disappointment was like,
Mhm.
go in for like 5 or 6 and see how the run of 5 or 6 is. It's easy for this one to be like, oh, everybody loved it. It was great. But like, if you did 5 episodes or 6 episodes, you could get like the 6. Did people watch for 6 episodes or did they just come back for 1? Because
Mhm.
now they've got this question. Well, like we're talking about, like, what could you do 24? Could you do 12? Could you do 10? How many do you do? Who's going to host? Right. So I guess that's my only
Mhm.
You know
minor
who's trying to
complaint.
decide that, right? There's a person with a calculator
Yeah.
going,
Mhm.
we'd have to guess this, and this set costs this, and this time these puppeteers cost this, and
Mhm.
how
Well,
many
like
subscribers
you're talking
can
about
we
with Rock and Roller
get?
Coaster.
Yep.
You could have had something set up to promote that. Like they could have had like, you've got
Mhm.
Villain Land coming up. You've got all these things coming up in the next, say, 2 years. Like you could have said, here's our plan for the next 18 months. You've
Mhm.
got one Muppet Show episode coming out every 4 months or something like that to promote each one of those things. But instead they just kind of like toss this one out and we're like, I wonder how it's going to do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there used to be, there used to be this fun little thing
Minor
called May
complaint.
Sweeps at the end of
Mhm.
every television season, and you could have done 4. We'll be back in May. We
Mhm.
got 4. We got 4 stars. Everyone has a movie coming out during the summer,
Mhm.
and that's your promotional tool, right? Even whether it's Pedro Pascal, whether it's there's big movies coming out. You got Emily Blunt coming out in the
Mhm.
Spielberg movie. I mean, there's people that I could see hosting the Muppet
Emily
Show
Blunt.
that
Mhm.
have a movie coming out.
Okay.
Rock and Roller Coaster, everyone.
Yeah.
What are your hopes and your dreams now? Is there anything from the Muppet Show spark expectations that you are not Dilloing for Rock and Roller Coaster? Lewis?
I mean, it's still going to go upside down 3 times. That's really the main thing.
It doesn't go upside down. What do you mean?
And it's going to get old pretty quick when the same line, unless they do something really amazing and they have lots of changes and the pre-show is different and maybe the pictures in the hallways change to different things. But all that stuff, it's just like they used to have the posters where you got your name in there and
Mhm.
all that stuff happens for a while and then
What is
cost versus.
I mean, we talk about rewritability, right? You got all the songs for Guardians. How many songs for the Muppets should there be?
Mhm.
Aren't there's right now there's 2 or 3, right? 2 or 3 different tracks.
Is that the plan?
I mean, no, I'm saying
That's the
from
first
the
thing I thought.
past.
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
thing I thought when I heard Rizzo singing Blinded by the Light, if
Yeah.
that one might fit. I'm just wondering like what Muppet songs will be in there and how good they'll hit. So like that one was not bad, but yeah, I just wonder, what songs they're going to use.
It's
That's
gotta
what
be
I'm
I
looking
something we
forward to.
enjoyed-
know.
Appreciate.
I mean, obviously, I'm never gonna. I'll just have to listen to what you guys say happens because I can't ride. But I
agree with you.
I really enjoyed the show with Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Right,
I
yeah.
liked that show. Lewis is
It was
shaking his head.
okay.
I know that he
It was
didn't.
okay.
I love hearing them sing, and I love their music. So there's so many of those songs that I would love to hear them do on that ride. If you know, so I think there's a lot of options.
No shot, Dr. Val, you getting on that ride ever? Just as
I can't
No
see
shot.
that I could. I would love to. It's Lewis and I have this
Yeah, right.
discussion
Just
all the
do one.
time. I have vertigo. If I rode it, they would have to carry me off. Will there be a point where it would be worth it to me to do it once and then just expect that I'm going to be carried off?
Right.
I don't know. It's hard because it's painful, and so it's
That's a Hollywood Studios walkout right there. The last
Right.
ride of the night,
yeah.
wheeled out of Hollywood Studios.
Maybe through
Yeah.
backstage, which another perk.
Hmm.
I
You never know.
mean, I
Yeah, we
say
were-
as I'll be sitting with you, not riding it.
Jan, you gotta go on. Get the
I
relief
am
band.
not going on it. But Lewis
One
brings up a good
time.
point about the old what pictures, because now I'm like, ooh, the pictures. Are they going to have the close-up pictures that were like in the hallway in the queue of Muppet Vision, like right when you walked in before you get your glasses and it was just everyone's face that I want hung in my house?
Yeah.
Will it be those pictures hanging
see.
around? Like what kind of...
That would be
I
nice.
am resistant to anything that will invoke Muppet Vision 3D because I will hang on to the idea that Muppet Vision 3D will move into that Villains Theater
Mm.
in a couple of years.
I don't think it will, but I think something like that will. If you haven't been to the theater yet, it is perfect for a show like the Muppets.
Mhm.
Absolutely perfect. I mean,
And
perfect.
mean,
where
I
is
think-
it?
yeah.
Someone direct me.
Yeah.
Where is this
Yeah.
theater?
Past
It's
Rock and Roller
behind.
Coaster.
You have to go past Rock and Roller Coaster's entrance, and it's backstage, which is it's really cool for me to be able to go back there again because that used to be where they had Darth Maul when they had Star Wars weekends back in the early days. And so it's just really cool to go back there again. But, and of course, they had the Cars thing, which I think I did maybe twice, and that's
Okay.
all that I did back there. But I love the Villain show. It is spectacular. That's the only thing is that I almost hate to see it go, but to have the Muppets back, for
Oh.
sure.
It
But
has like 10,
uh,
12 screens around that could easily be holding Muppet.
the walls can be like our screens. It's
It's-
incredible. It's
Yeah.
it's really neat.
We should have a meetup and go to this together.
Oh, Lewis with the
Oh.
perfect segue into
Oh.
talking. We have no news about the meetup on this episode.
So that was not the perfect
No.
segue. That
No.
And on that note,
Oh,
Jeffers
Jeffers
gone.
gone.
Jeffers is
He's out.
gone.
He's gone.
We lost Jeffers.
The only reason I
Will.
came.
Just, he thought this was the meetup episode. This is the episode we talk about the meetup, and it's not.
Lexi would be so mad, be like, "Excuse me, I didn't know we were going to be discussing that."
You know, you brought up the show that's probably going to model a little bit of the Rock and Roller Coaster. I think that show was a problem. Its problem was a little bit like what I was talking about with this. You have to. It was an adult show, but they kiddied it too much, so it seemed kind of cartoonish, and not in a good way, right? And that's what you can't do with the Muppets. You either have to make them kids or right along the line, but not have the subject matter be adult and then kidify it. You have to have subject matter that everybody can get into, have a little bit of adult, have a little bit of kids, and then you have that complete 360 thing that everybody likes.
Just waiting for the Dr. Val counterpoint.
I just
Not gonna. I'm not gonna.
It's
I'm just
marketing.
gonna
Lewis
let
with
him-
the
gonna let him have his moment. Let him have his
You
moment.
got to know your audience, and you got to keep
Agree
the
to
audience
disagree.
coming back for the same stuff.
Lewis with the
Jeffers,
triple down.
do you have a counter, Jeffers, to that? Here.
What do I have?
Do you have a
Sorry,
counter?
what?
Did I hear you come in to say you disagree?
No. I just
I didn't know.
speaking for Dr. Val. Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a question though that we haven't talked about, and you may want to say no, we're not going to go there. But the voices, I'd love to know what everybody thought about because there's so much discussion going on in the social media world about it. How do you all feel about the voices?
I mean, I've talked a little bit about I as someone, and I've said it about Christmas Carol I couldn't watch Christmas Carol for years because I could not accept that was not Jim Henson. Like I could not. It bothered me. I couldn't watch it, and it has chiseled away at me over the years. That now I can watch it more, and being a parent helps. But it's been a thing. So when I see people say like, "Oh, this change," I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? We've been dealing with change for 35 years. Like, like it's gonna happen." And and I think it's just, and it's a hard thing to do, I think. And so it's not gonna, it definitely can't be perfect. I was happy to see Rizzo back. I felt like that was a Rizzo return because for similar reasons, right? And I know I had read, I think, that they had planned that the same voice actor can be Rizzo and Bean Bunny, so I kind of knew Bean Bunny might be coming. So, and I don't know if it was like that before. I feel like it had to be. They sound the same. But I heard that the new actor could also do both. So I felt like it kind of needed Rizzo back in the fold too. So that was a key part of the series, and that's what was interesting to me about the show too. Was it was who making sure they did a Beaker and Honeydew segment, and making sure they did a Rizzo segment, and to the 10-year-old's point, she was like, I can't believe they did do a Swedish Chef thing. And I was you just had that little moment with Piggy, and I was like, oh, that's true. But I feel like we've been dealing with the voices for 35 years. So that if we can't accept that change, there's going to be a problem.
Well, and that's what I told Liz, because when we were talking about it, I said, I feel like that the people who are complaining about it the most aren't really truly fans, because I think that it's because it was shocking to them. So, and they haven't been dealing with it for the last 30 years like we have, those of us who love it. And it is hard because for us, the voices in Muppet 3D have become so ingrained because we watched it so many times. And the same for us with Muppet Christmas Carol, because we watch it every year. Because I told Lewis, it was funny because when we watched it the first time, the very first thing I said was, wait, Waldorf's voice is different. Like it rang so true in my ears the minute he spoke. And I was like, oh, I forgot that he's because we'd heard, but it didn't make me love him any less. It's just because I know that it's like you said, it's life. It's, and it's, and to find people that they're not just dubbing voices. You have to have a person that's a puppeteer as well as being able to do the voice. So it's more complicated than I think a lot of people that just generally are saying online, well, this is terrible. Well, no.
And I think it's tricky when you have things like Muppet Christmas Carol, or you go back further than that, where these are things you're watching often, whether it's Muppet Vision, whether it's older Muppet movies. So then if you have not seen anything as recent lately, and you've only been kind of focused on going to the back, I think it is a little bit jarring to hear this Kermit again in the very beginning. I mean, as soon as he talked, the kids were like, that's not Kermit. And I was like, yeah, it is. What do you mean? What do you
Being older? His voice changes.
And I think, in this episode, you didn't hear like a Kermity, like his little like moany sound that he does. I don't know how to describe it, but like maybe we needed a little bit of that little bit of a gulp from Kermit, a little bit of something to like ease people that are feeling a little on edge about it. But I do think the Muppets have been around forever, and I have only had one forever this whole episode. That's horrible. That I think when you are watching all these classic nostalgic movies, whether it's Jim Henson or not, it's hard then when you go to something new going, oh, right. Okay. Yep. Nope. This is Kermit. Got it. All right. Yeah.
The way they sound has to be at least reasonable. I think he's reasonable enough. As long as the characters are true to themselves. I mean, it's it's sad. I guess Jim Henson's not around, but
Yeah.
would he be doing it now today, anyways? Right? He'd be pretty old. Right?
Well,
It's been
maybe he would.
um, you never know, but I still listen to people who sing when they're 80. They don't sound like they did when they were 30. Right?
Mhm.
It's, you realize that people's voices change.
I don't know. Have you seen Frankie Valli in concert lately, Lewis? I'm going to send you a video. Definitely have to send you one of those videos.
The voices don't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I want them to be written. I want them to be written well. I want it to be funny. They're doing the best they can, I guess, and I couldn't tell you, like Rizzo sounded like Rizzo, so that's probably whoever Rizzo is. My favorite Muppets are Rizzo, Gonzo, and Pepe. Ironically, of this episode, I think Pepe and Gonzo were kind of the weakest in terms of their performance or their writing. My favorite Muppet movie is Muppets from Space, which I actually saw about half of this weekend. It just happened to be on TV, and I watched the second half of it. And it's just the writing in it is so absurd. Like, Gonzo says, the cosmic fish came to me in my dreams, and I saw a message in my cereal, and just stuff like that. It's so stupid. It's funny. I don't know. I don't know what it was about Gonzo specifically in this. There was a point where he was up onto the roller skates right at the beginning, and his mouth basically wasn't moving while he was talking. I guess that was my other kind of small complaint. But
Interesting.
I just didn't feel like they were as perfect as I wanted them to be. But they were good enough. I was happy enough. So, like I said, the voices themselves don't really bother me. And yeah, Waldorf and Statler seemed really different, but again, their performance and their jokes and their timing were what they need to be. So you just have to this is different. It's like, I guess, you guys go to Broadway a lot, right? And you see an original performance of, the King from Hamilton or whatever, right? Well, nobody's going to be Jonathan Groff, but like the next guy that does it is going to bring their own thing to it. And do you want them to do a performance impersonating Jonathan Groff, or do you want them to bring their own kind of take on it? And I think you kind of have to walk that line. And Kermit's obviously got to sound like Kermit a little bit, but as long as the performance is good, that's how I look at it. It was all good. So
because that's a big problem. These are supposed to be the same people, right? They're not supposed to be characters playing a new person playing a character. If they did that, and that's what I found really interesting when watching the Haunted Mansion thing, was that they didn't use Kermit as much. They didn't use the main ones, and it felt different because of that. Whether it's good or bad, I'm not making.
Yeah.
It was good, but it wasn't. It was different because it wasn't Kermit centric.
Well, and that was kind of the issue with the Muppets Tonight Show in the 90s. Go ahead, Jeffers.
Like, I think of the Dunkin' Donuts halftime commercial that we just saw, where everybody was de-aged, and I don't know if they did anything with the voices or not. I couldn't quite tell, but like, it's not beyond the realm of possibility to think that technology's in a place where you could take Jim Henson's voice and every Muppet character's voice and drive it through some. But is that what we really want? Like 50 years from now, do we want like the characters to evolve a little bit and become something a little bit different, right? Or do we want to have Jim Henson's voice embody Kermit for all time? I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
See, and that was why, and that's one of the reasons why I think I didn't love the Duncan commercial. And Liz and I had a big discussion about that too. But it's like, for me, I feel like they used their current voices and didn't adjust them, because Jasmine Guy didn't sound like she did in A Different World. She very much sounded like the current aged Jasmine Guy. And so I struggled with trying to figure out, wait, is this new? Is this I don't know. I struggled with that one too because of that. Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I thought that's what they were going for.
But theoretically, that's the answer, right? Like, everyone complains about, his voice is different, right? Like, well, are we at a point where we could use technology to, I don't know what the right word is, but to make whoever's performing it sound like Jim Henson? But even then, is it still gonna be Kermit?
I don't know. would you accept a Darth Vader who's like, Luke, I am your father? No, you would not. Darth Vader needs to talk like, Luke, I am your father. He needs to sound
but
like
even
James
in
Earl Jones.
but even in the Ahsoka series, where they kind of blended the voices a little bit at a certain point, that you're kind of like, oh, it's so weird. Like, it was still kind of like, and again, I think it's creative choices that I don't think you'll ever be able to appease everyone in that creative choice. So you have to take the most authentic route, which I think is can you present the writing and the characters in a way that invokes the Muppety chaos that I know that Craig Shemin has talked about with us a lot, and it is toned down chaos over the years too. But it does have that, like, can you get to that "Don't Stop Me Now" place at the end that, all right, you're still sending them home with the big Muppety explosion at the end. It's a different form of the explosion, right? It's this big hard rockin' number at the end. And I think that that's the best I think they can do, where I think previously they tried to make it different, and you can't. You can't make it different. You gotta. This is what the Muppets are. So if we're gonna talk about voices or anything like that, I think you got to pick the battles, and I don't know if the voices are the battles.
And that's a really good point that I was thinking about earlier. Was really good point. And I was thinking about this earlier. Was that we expect the Muppets when they're in the Muppet Show, they're not in character. They're the Muppets. And when they did the Muppet Show, the ABC show, they were still supposed to be in character, but they weren't in character, but they were not themselves. And in this 30 minutes, they were themselves. They felt like the people that we knew from that show, from Muppet 3D, where we felt like those characters. And that's what you have to have. You can age them, you can have them be more adult, less adult, whatever. But they're people that we know how they behaved.
Yeah,
at least,
and I
for
think
behavior,
that, and
let's
I
just
do
say.
think, that was agreed that since it took so long for us to even mention Gonzo, that but we kind of needed to introduce Gonzo getting shot out of whatever he's gonna get shot out of. Like you kind of also needed to do those introductory things if you never watched the Muppet Show before, or only knew from him saying forever in Muppet Vision 3D. You're like, oh, he's a daredevil, and so you needed that even if it didn't hit the right way. I think people almost know the Swedish Chef more, so you didn't need that introduction, really. You could just have him doing his voice up with Miss Piggy for a second, and you get it. So yeah, I think again, in the overall, because the things they did focus on, which was how the hosts connected with the characters, making the characters authentic, having the sketches fit the host and the vibe that people remember. I think that's why it is we're still talking about it as seemingly feeling successful.
I feel like this was a pilot episode, like in a real pilot where they just made the one show. They probably got finished with it a couple weeks ago, and right before they put it out, and they're like, the people were at Disney were going, let's see what we can do. Give us a finished product. And they got the finished product and said, let's air this. This is good.
Yeah.
How did you get Sabrina Carpenter for that amount of money? Right. Those are the questions. Can we do that again?
Just get some backdoor money coming out. Backdoor pilot, I think they call it, to see if it actually, we're doing it as a special, but really we want there to be more episodes. So, I mean, she did have
producer credit, right?
Yeah, she had an executive producer credit at the end. Yeah.
That does something there too, right?
Yeah.
If I understand it right.
And I think the thing that we haven't really mentioned too is Alex Timbers was the director of this, who's had his name on like everything Broadway related. He directed Just in Time with Jonathan Groff, which again is another Jonathan Groff reference here. And that show is so much, you've heard Jonathan Groff talk about it, that is so much about connection and making everyone feel present in the moment right now. Like that's like something the biggest thing about that show is because it's set in like in a club like that Bobby Darin would play in, that everyone is, the performers are connecting with you because you're in the round the whole time, but you get eye contact with the performers, and I feel like that's something that Alex Timbers really strives for, and he's doing All Out now too, which has been like rotating, like Jon Stewart has done it and Gracie Lawrence did it, so there's he has multiple. Moulin Rouge I think is under his too on Broadway, so he has these shows that are very, I don't want to use the word immersive, but it's and trying to bring the audience into the action as much as possible, which I think really also speaks to what the Muppet Show should be, what the Muppet should be, and what this episode was.
Yeah.
All right. I went really emphatic there at the end, so I feel like now I have to wrap it up. Is there anything, Jen, that we should address before this supersized episode of the
So the
Muppets?
meetup. Well, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It's just
No.
kidding. Another time. That'll be another time, another episode.
Of course, you can find Lewis and Dr. Val and Jeffers in our world-renowned, world-famous $1 one-channel Discord that's associated with DillosDizResort.com. That's our Patreon, with memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. DillosDizResort.com, but also our brand new Dillos Pops server. Jen, what can you say about that?
Oh, well, that's open to anyone that wants to hang out with us over there. You can find more information at DillosDizResort.com, but there are some channels totally open to the public, but then there are some lockdown channels with like TV specific topics or like some Olympics chat going on. Those you would have to check in to Dillos Diz Resort as a guest, and then you get access to those channels as well. So you should come hang out with us.
Well, our thanks to Lewis and Dr. Val and Jeffers for joining us here for this Muppety edition of Theme Park Thursday with Dillos Diz. Until next time, he's Jeffers, that's Lewis, as Dr. Val, as Jen, I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces! The Dillos Diz podcast is hosted by Frank Cardillo and Jen Cardillo-Snyder. Music produced by Matt Harvey. Logos and video production courtesy of Snidillo Studios. Dillos Diz Resort is our Patreon with tiers starting as low as $1 per month. You can visit DillosDizResort.com to learn more. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, X Twitter, and Facebook at Dillos Diz. Check us out on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/DillosDiz. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there. We also have merch available on TeePublic and Etsy. For all this and more, visit our one-stop shop, DillosDiz.com.